fact that I'm a lefty. As a lefty, when you draw in pencil, pretty much smudges all over your hand and messes up the paper. You know what? I wish I had some magic trick to it, because the funny thing is, if you saw my hands on a normal day, they look pretty shaky.
Tell me, how do you see yourself the first time that you came to The Secret and right now?
And for me, putting art up to be judged was always an interesting and kind of weird idea for me.
Los Rayados Tattoo Podcast. Podcast lonely, make you laugh. Tell stories and sit back. In this world we're going.
Hello, my friend from the Rayados. Once again from Ink Mania Tattoo Festival in Tampa, Florida. And we have a special guest today. One of my favorite artists in fine line and black and gray in the city of Tampa. Everybody, please, a great applause for
Kyle Maguire.
Hey, how you doing, Kyle? Everything good? How has been the convention for you, buddy?
Honestly, man, it's been pretty fun. I love this convention, especially even when it was in St. Pete. Ton of fun, and you get to see some pretty cool stuff.
That's awesome, bro. Like how I describe to my people, like you are, for me, the best in fine line in the city of Tampa right now, and one of the best in like a black and gray. Tell me about it. Like, how do you find this style, and why you are so passionate about it?
You know what? It's kind of a funny story, because I always kind of dedicate it to the fact that I'm a lefty. As a lefty, when you draw in pencil, pretty much smudges all over your hand and messes up the paper. So from an early age, I just had to draw in pen and Sharpie for the longest time. So I kind of learned no mistakes from a really early age. So fine line just seemed like the natural progression. Can't make any mistakes, and that's kind of what I like to do.
Yeah, because the only place is the line that you do, and you do like a super steady lines for the circles. You like it pretty much looks like a print, like I just take it out of the computer, like you don't find like any curve and shaking over there. Like, do you have any special technique that you actually use to like get to this level of detail over there?
You know what? I wish I had some magic trick to it, because the funny thing is, if you saw my hands on a normal day, they look pretty shaky. I think my biggest thing is I never feel rushed. I like to go really slow and take my time on everything that I do, you know?
That's pretty awesome. How long you been tattooing, and what inspired you to become a tattoo artist?
Yeah, I've been tattooing not too long, honestly. It's been about 4.5 years. I started on my 21st birthday, and I'm 25 now. And what inspired me to become a tattoo artist, I've always loved tattoos. I grew up in kind of skateboarding and rock culture. But the thing that kind of got me started doing it was I really wanted a cool job in college. I applied to be the front desk at a tattoo shop, and when I went in, they offered me an apprenticeship, and I decided to try it out just for fun, but I fell in love with it right away.
So you started at The Secret?
No, actually, I started at The Secret just about 1.5 years ago, or about, I guess, 2 years ago now. But I started up in Tallahassee, Florida, because I went to school at Florida State. So I went to 2 different shops up there before I moved down to Tampa and started here.
That's pretty awesome, because right now you're like in the best place of Tampa. Like as I described it before, it's like whatever shop is like a university for a tattoo shop, for a tattoo artist. The Secret is like where you get your master's degree. Like you go out of The Secret just to get your own tattoo shop and like start to moving up. Like, tell me, how do you see yourself the first time that you came to The Secret and right now?
You know, the funny thing about it is when I first walked in The Secret, I was blown away. Just the way it looked, and even just talking to some of the artists. The cool thing about The Secret is everyone not only is very good as they are right now, but everybody wants to keep growing, and I think that's super cool. But it's funny looking back, because when I first applied, I thought I was the man. I thought I had what it took, and now I look back at some of the stuff I had before The Secret, maybe not as high quality as some of the stuff I like to put out now. So it's funny to look back. They've helped me grow a lot.
That's pretty cool. Also, I see like you were in a second in the All-Star Tattoo Convention last year.
Yeah.
You were in the second place of like anime. You did also like a fine line over there.
Yeah.
Like every time that you go to these conventions and like let judges see your job, and like tattoo artists around the place, like maybe they've been longer than you in the tattoo industry, but you go over there and you position yourself like that high. How it makes you feel?
You know what's funny? I never did conventions before starting at The Secret. And for me, putting art up to be judged was always an interesting and kind of weird idea for me, because all art is cool. And I didn't think there was a metric for it. That being said, I think the cool thing for putting it up for judges to see and for your peers to see is it kind of pushes you to try harder. You see what other people are doing. When you see a first place up there, you can kind of take ideas from them and put it into your own work. So it kind of just pushes you to do better and better each time.
For some tattoo artists and tattoo shop owners, like at the conventions, they describe it as a waste of time. Like in your words, like going on like a tattoo convention, how like influences the career of a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about how they don't like conventions or they don't understand like the judging of it and everything. You know, at the end of the day, judging is always going to be subjective. So since everybody has different styles and techniques, it is kind of a weird waters to kind of wade in. But at the end of the day, I think the cool thing about it is it's a place where you can kind of find community. It's a lot of people with very similar ideas to yourself. And on top of that, the judging aspect of it, again, it just kind of pushes you to try harder. So even if maybe you don't win every year, it's a way for other people to see your work and kind of build a community around styles and things like that.
That's pretty awesome. You know what? I have a question for you. Like, what is your favorite tattoo style that you most like?
So funny enough, the tattoo style I like to do is kind of fine line mixed with microrealism. But as you can see by some of my tattoos, I really like traditional and neo-traditional. It's kind of one of those styles that also incorporates a lot of line work. I also just love black and gray. Obviously, I love seeing color tattoos on other people, but for myself, my favorite thing is like clean black and gray. So yeah, I really like, I know you were friends with Coez. Coez's style is up top for me. I think it's just very expressive. It shows that you know how to draw outside of just references. So it's just like a really creative style. So I really like neo-traditional.
Yeah. I like neo-traditional too. Like in the beginning, I was all about like biomechanics and things like that. But at the end, Corey like pretty much tell me like, hey, look it, a biomechanic could be cool and things like that. But look at this style. And he kind of introduced me with the neo-traditional. And I was like, his first canvas in the beginning. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if that's what you like, let's do it. And I kind of start to like it.
Yeah.
So it was like not decided at the beginning, but after all, I said like, okay, yeah, I kind of like it. This is kind of cool.
And don't get me wrong, I love the biomechanics. My dad, one of his favorite tattoo styles is that biomechanic. Anything where it kind of incorporates the body too. But something about line work's always been something I liked.
So many people like I believe like a microrealism is something that is gonna look good for a short time, but later on it's gonna like a blur and it's gonna explode. Like how do you see like aging the microrealism in other people?
Yeah, I'm actually really happy you asked that because I see a lot of times online and even sometimes in person people talking about the aging of fine line. I'm not someone who disagrees with that. I do see many fine line tattoos coming together over time. That being said, there's ways to kind of mitigate it. Really what I like to kind of consider myself is more gray wash specialist rather than just microrealism artist. Because at the end of the day, if you do a fine line tattoo with very close together lines, all with black ink, there's too much pigment underneath the skin close together. So as that expands, it's going to come together eventually. That being said, we can kind of take steps to mitigate it where we use different percentages of gray wash with less pigment. Using that in smaller areas allows the tattoo over time to potentially fade a little bit faster than maybe some other tattoos, but you kind of plan ahead where areas will still look the way you want them to, even if they fade. And worst comes to worst, instead of having to deal with cover-ups and blowouts, you deal with more touch-ups at the end of the day. So there's ways to get around it.
Yeah, I saw like you do a fine line, but you don't put like two lines pretty close to each other. You kind of spread them out and like play around the circles. Like, okay, the tattoo is going to age at some point, but this line are going to stay separate and it's going to be still readable. Like the tattoo that you did yesterday, like with Egyptian influence and things like that. That was pretty cool. It had like some realism over there, like textures, shadows, and you kind of like played like you actually mastered the source of light of the tattoo because it was in this part of the things like when the people turn around, you know, the source of light is gonna go straight over there, and you kind of like spread it. That was pretty cool. Like,
thank you.
For example, like what is the craziest thing that it happens to you while you're doing a tattoo with somebody? It could be something funny. It could be something bizarre. It could be whatever thing that you want to share.
You know what? Craziest experience I've had so far has to be kind of early on when I was tattooing. I tell people this story all the time because it kills me. A lot of people nowadays that come to me for tattoos have thought about their tattoos for quite a while. It's been something they've planned about for years. And so I'm a little bit more specific about what I take nowadays. But when I was first starting out, you really just want to get some practice in. So you take almost everybody. And pretty early on, I was doing just numbers on 2 clients. It was pretty much a couple, and they wanted dates on their wrist. And I did the first tattoo. And when I did the second tattoo, I was just making small talk. And I asked them, so what is this? What's this date mean to you? And they're like, oh, well, it's the day we met. I looked down and it was 1 week earlier. So hopefully the relationship lasted, but I mean, they were pretty quick to it.
Oh my God, that's fucking crazy. Like the other day I was talking with Ali and things like that.
Yeah.
And they say like these couple tattoos, like dates and things like that, they are not like a good mantra for them.
It's a curse. It's a curse.
Yeah, oh my God. Like right now, like you're pretty young in the industry, but maybe you hear from some people like back in the day, like there was not too much technology around, like there was not like a printer for a stencil, so like you pretty much print and you gotta kind of like make your own stencil,
Yeah.
shape your own needles. You coming from like this early generation of tattoo artists, how do you see the technology helping you to develop your career?
Yeah, honestly, I was very lucky. My mentor, Pete McFly in Tallahassee, Miami, he kind of started me out with hand drawing stencils and things like that. So I really got to experience that and see how lucky I am now. That being said, I owe my career to Procreate. It's an app on the App Store that's only $12, and I run everything on it. It speeds up everything by 1,000,000 times, and I still do like to hand draw a lot of ideas, but at least for that clean final draft, it makes all the difference.
What about AI? AI in the industry, like how other tattoo artists can take advantage of it, and what is the limit for the use of AI in the tattoo industry?
100%. You know, this might be even a controversial opinion, but I don't see it being too big of a problem using AI. I don't like to use it as my exact reference, but for inspiration, sometimes, especially for realism, people ask for maybe events that only have a limited number of pictures, and you don't really want to copy that same photo that everybody else has. And sometimes for realism ones as well, they ask for events that maybe happened before photography, such as kind of ancient things like my Egyptian one yesterday. So for stuff like that, if you want to kind of get a picture in your head, sometimes AI at least gives you that inspiration to go off of. I try not to use it as my exact reference, though.
That's very good. It's very important. Like you use it as a reference, but you intervene. Like as a tattoo artist, you put your hands on it. Maybe the AI has some mistakes. Like you scan every pixel of that image. And what do you like in a customer when they get in a tattoo with you?
Oof. There's a few things, honestly. I've been very lucky. A lot of my customers and clients have been really good. I honestly just like people who kind of are open to the process. I myself, back when I first started getting tattoos, was very, very picky. And there's nothing wrong with being picky. But at the end of the day, it's good to have some form of trust in your artist. There's a reason you went to them. You chose them. You saw their work. So at the end of the day, you know that they have a vested interest in what you're looking for. So usually my favorite type of client is someone who's kind of just open to at least hearing out what we have to say.
And what you don't like in a customer when they get in a tattoo with you?
You know, the things that I would say I wouldn't like is people who are adamant that maybe their idea is the best course of action. And the thing is with that, at the end of the day, maybe it is. But I think being able to talk about it, just like any other idea outside of art, it's good to be able to talk through the idea, see what each person thinks. Sometimes, especially with tattoos, it's very easy to kind of look in the mirror and see what you see, but you don't necessarily catch the angle that everybody else will see. So I think people need to be a little bit more open sometimes, myself included, with maybe outside opinions.
All right, Kyle, how the people can find you, how they can book a tattoo with you, and where they can find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is kmagsbliss. My name is Kyle, and you can find me at the Secret Tattoo Studio.
All right, like if you're in the state of Florida on the Tampa Bay area, if you want like the best fine line in the business right now, you gotta find my friend Kyle. It was a pleasure to be with you all here in Los Rayados.
Yeah, man.
Good
Thanks
luck,
for having me.
All right, be safe. Stay tuned.